Hey guys, I hope everybody's well. So just to jump into this real quick, what you're looking at is a book called Visions of Glory as Told to John Pontius. That is the author, but someone else told him the story. I think now it's come out, that person's name is Tom Harris or Harrison. Don't quote me on that. We're going to talk more about this though, so if I don't have my proper APA formatting or citing, please forgive me on this short video. Why am I talking about this? For a variety of reasons. You guys know that something about the Mormon faith greatly intrigues me, but also really puts me off in the times that we are in. But not just that church, it's a lot of churches. And I think it's my opinion that a lot of us who were raised, or at least were familiar with organized religion, have kind of been called out of that over the last 10 years or so. I was called back into it, but not into the church per se. Now, I want to touch on this because I think it's really important, again, to stay balanced and to remember to remain fair and balanced and innocent until proven guilty. We don't need to be acting like medieval angry mobs. And I think that's the goal here of this spiritual warfare, is to get people, again, instigating each other and bring us to some type of arms. I am a pacifist personally. I don't own any guns. I don't believe in owning guns. That's just not who I am. I do believe in being prepared, like, having basic camping equipment and having a bag in your car. It'd be kind of foolish not to. So, again, balance is key with all of these topics here. But I want to talk about this because there's some controversy over all of the people of Mormon faith or the LDS Church who are right now in media spotlights, and not in a good way, in true crime. You've got Lori and Chad Daybell, and pretty much everybody on Dateline, I told you, leads back to the Mormon faith. But I've also noticed that some of them you see more than once, and so I know that not everything is as it seems. Again, I'm a pacifist. I do not seek to harm anyone else, and I would not harm myself. Having said that, it's not just people of this faith, of the LDS faith, who are having dreams and visions. I've been testifying to that since about 2017, 2018, of an earthquake and flooding and a few other things that we've gone over ad nauseum. I'm talking about this right now, though, because I might speed up the eclipse video, and we might do that tomorrow, because I have some really different insights than I think other people have gone over, and it's kind of been my baby in all of this since my testimony started at that same basic time frame. They're saying that people like Lori and Chad Daybell and Tim Ballard and all these people who are being accused of things right now, and again, let's not get on any bandwagon as far as accusations go. Let's be investigators. Let's be researchers for the truth, right? Wherever that might lead us. And so there's a lot of talk and chatter on YouTube right now about how this book is leading these people to become radicalized. Okay, so first of all, let's remember that our society is built upon a book. Whether the young'uns today want to admit it or not, we get our morals, our ethics, our judicial system, all of it comes from the Bible. It comes from Scripture. Jordan Peterson knows this, and he's more qualified to speak to that, obviously, than someone like me. So if you want to understand that better, go seek out his Bible series from a couple of years ago. A book, yes, sometimes, media can really influence us, but we have to have proper discernment. And oftentimes I'm very critical of the LDS Church because of things that have gone on in my area. But I've also said that I don't think we should jump on bandwagons because we're not inside that faith. We're not inside the Masons. We don't actually know what's going on. We know what people on YouTube are saying, but we don't know if that's true. And we know that the majority sometimes, usually lately especially, anything that's trending or is in the majority is usually the wrong way to go, morally and ethically speaking. The secular world, the media, has no moral compass, and so it's up to us to have that moral compass. It's not the media's job. That's our job, to protect our eye gates, our ear gates, and that of our children. And to do this charity for each other and to kind of have each other's backs. What am I saying? I don't think everything's as it seems. I think certain prisons were emptied for a reason. Some of them are privately owned for a very specific reason. There are things going on behind the scenes that are not all bad. And I don't think this is being perceived by everybody at this point in time. And there are a lot of us on YouTube who have come out of organized religion or weren't even in religious to begin with, who had NDs, didn't have NDs. But the one thing we all have in common, the only thing we all have in common, is these dreams and visions that we've been having. I know it sounds crazy to some people, but imagine if all of us are right and we've been shouting these warnings and nobody listens. Put yourself in these people's shoes who do prep or whatever you want to call it. From their angle, they're doing the best for their family. It's nobody else's job. It's not the government's job to provide for their families. Okay? And there's a lot of talk about, oh, well, this person had everything going for them and a great job, a lot of money, beautiful house. That's not what's important in any of this. And people who are still of that mindset are not going to weather the next few years well at all, because things are going to be more equalized because of, I personally believe, some spiritual and natural chaos that's going to be taking place. And you could think you're safe, you could think you've got what you need, and it ends up it's not that way. So people on both sides of the fence feel like they're doing what's best for their family. You have people who work every day and say, I don't have time for all that. Some of us live in the real world and we have to provide and pay bills. Granted, yes, that's true. I've been on that side. But I'm also on the other side now too, and I kind of know both sides of the fence as to where you really don't care if you have a college fund for your child in 20 years. You just want to make sure that you have that child and that they are well and that the state hasn't taken them from you, or nobody, tried to falsely accuse you of something and take your child. There's a lot of that going on right now. And people who are meaning well and trying to do what's best are being made to look like villains. Please remember this moving forward. A lot of us have been warning the internet or people we meet for a long time now, and we've lost everything that used to be important to us just for speaking up. Do you think we'd do that for nothing? Do you think I'd still be doing this for nothing? For 200 people subscribed, maybe 50 people see a video. And yes, I nuked my own other channel, but again, that was with a very specific purpose. I love you guys. Please remember, things aren't always as they seem, and try not to be taken to one extreme or the other. And remember that we share this place, right? And we are stronger when we have a little teamwork. And no one knows that more than people like me who've been outcast the last few years, how important that structure is. And our enemies, or the enemies of a moralistic and moralistically centered society, people who are wanting to turn every country block into Las Vegas. And yes, I said that specific place with a reason. That's what we're fighting against. And so when I say fighting, I mean spiritually. Pray for your families. Fast if your doctor says that it's okay, if you are someone who does that. If nothing else, send out positive vibes for them. Get your college student a little duffel bag with some basic necessities in it in case their car breaks down in the winter. A blanket, things like that. Water in the car. Little stuff can go a long way. But this going to extremes and making decisions while the jury is still out and casting these people as villains, it's just not going to get us anywhere. So I'm going to put a little voice of reason out there and say it's not just people who read this book or the LDS Church. There are many of us. All you have to do is Google dreams and visions, flip your filter date, and you'll see them itemized in the YouTube feed. So we'll talk more about this in the next live stream. And I've got some maps I've been saving and a few ideas regarding the eclipse and the earthquake dreams and all that. So watch for that. And always, we are always appreciative of prayers here. And remember, I always pray for you guys too. God bless.